Hi guys, it's Rae. We're starting a new cup project today. We are going to recreate this tie-dye that I did over the weekend. This was my very first tie-dye and I am over the moon thrilled with it. I wish I had recorded it, but I didn't. I was Zoom crafting with my mom and my sister, so I was just playing around. So to create this, I used markers from this set. I picked these up at Five Below. They were $4. Not the greatest color selection, but not bad. It had a little bit of everything. That's why I got this set. I don't remember if they had other sets, but I know like Amazon has a ton of these markers for cheap. So I'll probably order a set from there at some point here. But I'm going to go with, these colors are slightly different than the ones I used on this cup, just because I want to not have two identical cups. But I've got the red, the yellow, a green, a blue, and the purple. So that's what I'm going to work with. I'm going to use the fine side of all of these. For me, it's easier just to open them all and have them ready. So, alright, the first thing I did on this one, and I'm going to set this one out of the way, was I took the yellow and drew a spiral from the yellow. So, I'm going to try this without messing it up completely. Yep, I'm already going astray. And you need to make your spiral relatively wide because you need to have room for your other colors. So you'll run off the cup and then you can hop back on the cup. And like that's not going to work. I only needed like one spiral. So what I'm going to do is take some of that back off, that center line I did. I'm using a glossy paint, so it'll clean back off relatively easily if I don't like what I did. But what I should have done is just come up a little bit and then come in somewhere just a little bit. And the bottom I'll just work in as I go. So it's going to look like you're just scribbling on the cup for the first entire portion of this. I'm just going to draw little lines. Now, just to get my sizing in position, I'm going to do a little bit of each color to start. And then this is going to stick to my thing. Once I'm kind of comfortable with where my lines are at, I'll go ahead and do the entire spiral. But I'm going to keep in mind as I come around here that the red is going to come back in here after the purple. So I have to make sure I leave room for that. But I know it's going to look like a hot mess, like a child scribbled on it. It's fine, I promise you. And I'm going to go ahead and come back in with my red just to make sure I am on track with where that yellow line needs to go when I come back to the spiral. So that's going to be a fairly large gap. But you know what? I'm just going to roll with it. I thought about wiping it off and trying to correct it, but I would probably just make it worse if I did that. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to here and start all the way around, and I'm going to fill in this entire thing in a quicker speed. Okay, so the whole thing is covered. You saw me switching back and forth to the chisel tip. That's because where I wiped that alcohol on the back, it got a little sticky. So the markers were actually picking up a little bit of that white paint. So that was all that was. I have a little cup of 91% alcohol here. I have just a cheapy paintbrush. And you don't want it super wet because you don't want it to run. So dip and blot, and you're just going to go ahead and drag through your color. And you can drag further out in some spots, less far in others, whatever works for you. But you're just going to continue all the way around. Clean your brush in between major color transitions. Like, I'm not going to want to bring this red up into the green. Okay. Okay, so that is all blended. So I'm going to let this dry for a little bit. I'm going to get some resin mixed up, and we will go over to the turner, and we will get a coat of epoxy on it. And I'm going to mix this rainbow Brite glitter in the epoxy like I did on this one, just for a little something extra. So similar, but a little bit different. But I'm not going to decal this one. I'm just going to get the epoxy on because I haven't picked a decal yet. But it'll probably be something similar to this, maybe just a mom one, especially if I can find mom in the same retro vibe font. This isn't a font that I typed up. This was just in Design Space. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. But I will be back over at the turner. Alright, I am ready to get the resin on this. I almost forgot my glitter. This is the Rainbow Brite Cheat from It's Pretty Personal. I think it's gorgeous. And it is like, got the perfect undertones in it for this type of cup. So, I'm gonna just give it a couple sprinkles on top, because I don't want it to get too crazy. Now, I did run in a couple of spots, but honestly, I am fine with it. Real tie-dye is not perfect. I'm going to grab the other one again, just so you can see them side by side again now that this one's under the resin. Maybe. This one did seem to brighten back up a little tiny bit, so I'll be curious to see if this one does as well. I think it's already starting to in some of the colors, but yeah. Not a bad way to do a tie-dye. I probably won't do a ton of them, but I'm going to do at least one more with a different technique coming up soon. Same technique, different style, I guess I should say. So be on the lookout for that sometime later this week or next week. Okay, so this is dry, but I still haven't come up with what I want to put on it yet. This set from Design Space has all kinds of weird, groovy, hippie stuff, but nothing that I really seem to like. I'm kind of surprised by how much more some of the color washed out on this one. I still think it's beautiful, but, and I do have one bubble I'm going to have to sand. It's a bubble or a piece of dried resin, I'm not sure which. But like the yellow almost completely disappeared, but on this one it stayed. Just really fascinating how different things get. And now I have some chameleon powder on it because I just put it on my surface, but that'll wipe off. So this is it, done as it stands. I'll figure out something to do with it at some point here, and yeah, but that's the basics of it. So thanks for watching.